All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Leticia Preciado, and I'm the Parent Engagement Coordinator here at Pittsburgh Unified School District. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Again, if you haven't yet signed in, if you could please take a moment to sign in using the electronic link that's in the chat, we would appreciate it. Joining me this evening for tonight's presentation is Miss Melissa Watts from the BrightLife Kids organization, and she'll be doing this evening's presentation. So welcome, Melissa.
Thank you so much, Leticia, and thank you everyone for joining us as well. I know it's an evening for you all, and I'm a parent myself, so I know how evenings can go, so really appreciate your time. I'm going to go ahead and share screen, and there are a couple interactive pieces as well. So I'll just kind of share screen and then guide you when there's an interactive piece about what to do, but you can have your phone accessible, then that'll make it easy to answer some of these questions. So first I'll start here. And my name is Melissa Watts. I am based in the Bay Area and work really closely with a lot of our Northern California partners and families, including a lot of schools. And I'm really excited. I was just actually at a parent meet and mingle 2 hours ago in Oakland. So I really just love getting to share the news about this wonderful new program called BrightLife Kids that just launched January 1st, 2024. So just to give you kind of lay of the land, what to expect in the next kind of 30 to 40 minutes, we will first, I'll give you a background. This is a free program, and I think sometimes parents or people that I work with are immediately kind of like, what's the catch here? Why is this free? So I'll first kind of explain the background, why it's free. Then we'll do a little warm up, see, who's in the room, make sure people are awake. And then I'll tell you kind of what is BrightLife Kids, who is it for, how does it work? And then, kind of talk through how do we get started, and if you would like to kind of share with other parents as well. I know we're all part of our own communities, whether that's a church group or a parent group, or just you have family who also has kids. So I'll also just kind of highlight ways that you can share in your community if you'd like. And then feel free also to just drop some questions in the chat. I think we'll have some time later at the end to answer those questions. But if you're like me, I forget them as the next slide goes through. So feel free to drop them in there to document them. So first, I promised the background. This is a completely free program. Why is this free? And I should let you know, it is for parents 0 to 12 who have children who are 0 to 12. It is a behavioral health support for all parents. I think sometimes we're not used to having free resources. So I want to let you know how this exists. We're funded by the Department of Healthcare Services in California. There's a really large initiative that is rolling out. I think it started last year, and it's a 5-year investment of $4.7 billion by Governor Newsom to support children and youth mental health. I won't get too much into the details, but I'm sure you all as parents know there are really alarming increases in the rates of youth mental illness. And these have actually gone, I don't know if it's exponentially, but highly increased after the pandemic. So this is really alarming. People at the state level took attention to this and decided, what if we were to invest in those early years, those 0 to 12 years, in a more preventative way? And what would that look like? So Brightline, the company, was selected to create a program in California. It is called now BrightLife Kids. And so this is that free program, this preventative model to hopefully start seeing those rates of mental illness declining as we start investing in our children and youth as they're young. I also want to say that this investment includes children or youth ages 13 to 25 as well. That's a different company called Saluna that I am not a part of, but I have a lot of contacts there. So if you do want to hear more, if you have older children, just let me know and I can connect you to those resources as well. Or honestly, you can just Google that Saluna. And it's the same exact funding stream, which means it's completely free and accessible to all families in California and all youth. All right, so I promised a warm up since it's the evening. So if you can go ahead and get your phones out and just scan this QR code. Hopefully we're all kind of trained on that now that we've had, menus and everything during COVID with these QR codes. If you can scan this, I would love to know, kind of get a lay of the land of the people in the room. What age is your child? Or if you have multiple, what ages are your children? So I'll go ahead and stop sharing. Try to go ahead and scan this. And I think if I stop and then show you, there's another QR code in case you're running to go get your phone. So I'm going to stop here and then I'm going to go over to the results page and we can see them kind of come in live. And I can actually also just drop the link in the chat as well in case that's easier for folks to navigate. I'm going to drop this link in here. So if you missed the QR code, then you can just go ahead and click on the link in the chat and answer the question, what age is your child or what ages are your children? And then we can kind of see the results come in live. I hope you can all see my screen right now. Let's make sure you can. Nope. There we go. So it looks like we have one. We're spanning the age range here. So we have a 10 to 12, 6 to 9, 0 to 5. If I were to vote, which I should have, but too many things at once, I have a 2-year-old, so I would have been in that 0 to 5 bucket. Anybody else? I see something in the chat here. Oh, great, Michelle. Yeah, so you have an 8-year-old, so that's one more vote for the that 6 to 9 age range. Wow, and we have somebody who has a 13 plus, so we've covered the entire range here now. I'll give it a couple more seconds just if people want to. Oh, okay, and yeah, if you want to drop it in the chat too, that's also nice. So I see here some folks have a 6, 14, and 10, an 8-year-old. Wonderful. So an 8-year-old, amazing. The good news is 0 to 25 is covered. What I'm going to talk about today is that 0 to 12 age range. So I'm going to go ahead and just navigate back over here. You can still kind of put in your votes if you'd like to. Those who put it in the chat, you can also scan this QR code or look at the link in the chat if you want your vote counted in here. But I'm going to go back over here. So thank you for entertaining that game with me. Just always nice to kind of, hear from everybody in the room. And just know that we're sitting with fellow parents. So we get it. We get how hard this can be. So I'll start here and give you an overview. So BrightLife is the parent company. It was founded 4 years ago in California. And it was founded by Naomi Allen, who had a child who had a lot of kind of health and behavioral health challenges. And she found that navigating the healthcare system was 50 hoops and beyond frustrating and super exhausting and just a jungle. And so she founded this company to address that and say, is there a way that we can help parents navigate the system to better support their children in a more accessible way? So she founded the company BrightLife. Since then, and this happened right before the pandemic, so then with the pandemic, everything went virtual. This is a fully virtual service. It kind of took off. It's now accessible in all 50 states across the US, and covers over 60 million people. And so people either pay out of pocket or primarily through their health or employer insurance plans in all 49 other states. The good news is in California, from that bill that I mentioned that Governor Newsom invested in children mental health, we got selected to start a program in California called BrightLife Kids. So you might hear the term Brightline. Now you know that's the company that was founded here. And then BrightLife Kids is now this free program for you all. This is free virtual behavioral health support for children and families 0 to 12. I'll get into what we mean by behavioral health, but just so you know right away, one of the main kind of offerings here is one-on-one parent coaching to guide parents through some of those developmental milestones that children go through in the early years, including emotion regulation, or how to do a breathing exercise to calm themselves down. And I'll get more into that as well. With this slide, I just want to say that there are no costs attached. So this is really meant to tackle the accessibility piece. We don't ask questions about insurance because there's no cost, so we don't need to go through any insurance. There are no referrals needed. You could, if this sounds interesting to you and you get bored while I'm talking, you could Google this right now and sign up on the spot. I should have put a little QR code so you could do that too, but you can Google it and sign up yourself. And then we also have English, Spanish bilingual coaches and live translation in the 17 other Medi-Cal threshold languages. So really trying to think of what are those barriers to access care, and moving those aside so we can start a conversation. All right, again, to keep us awake here and active, if we can play this game, don't worry, I only have, this is the second to the last one. If you can scan this QR code with your phone, or I'll drop that link in the chat again. I would love to hear from you. What words come to mind when you hear behavioral health? I think it's important to get a lay of the land. When I say, oh, free virtual behavioral health, a lot of parents sometimes say, what is that? And like, why should I be excited about that? What does that mean? So I wanted to hear from you all. What comes to your mind, one or two words, when you hear the term behavioral health? And I'll go ahead and stop share and then share again so we can see results kind of come in live. I'll drop the link in the chat as well. Oh yeah, Parisa, I see that you're on the phone. So I dropped this link in the chat. Maybe that works, or you can just drop your answer in the chat as well. And then I'll go ahead and skip over to the next slide here. And then I will share my screen. Okay. So one or two words that come to mind. Oh my gosh, tantrums. Story of my life right now. I have a 2-year-old. I don't know what to do about the tantrums. Yes, that's a big one. What other things? And I see some people dropping them maybe in the chat too. Expressions, defiance. Yep. Defiance is a big one I hear from teachers too. Kind of pushback. Anybody else? Any words that come to mind when you think behavioral health? Sadness, depression, honesty. I love these. Can't explain their feelings. Oh, I was just talking about that with parents today. Um, I often think our generation, we didn't really get taught how to express our feelings, and we hope that our children learn. But it's hard when we weren't given the chance to. Um, so yes, they can't express their feelings, doing good or behaving well. Anxiety, emotions and reactions, frustration. Yes. I hear this kind of phrase often from teachers and parents, that children are really sensitive right now, that they're kind of overly sensitive. And that can come out in frustration or in defiance. Um, yeah. I'll move on so we don't take too long, but thank you all for kind of again just dropping these words in the chat. Um, and these are all in that bucket of behavioral health. All of those words fit in there. Sadness, honesty, defiance, those all count as a behavioral health issue or topic. So here I kind of tried to pull out what is behavioral health, pull out some of the topics that our coaches talk to parents about. So here you see even the exact word someone put in there, sadness, um, developmental milestones. So for if you have a young child, knowing when something is normal or when you should seek help. For example, my daughter spoke a little bit later. Well, she's only 2, but it worried me. She didn't have any words. At what point should I go for help? You would be connected to a professional who's been trained in child development, who can then help you and coach you of when it's time to seek help or what things you can do at home to help your child. Sleep issues and patterns is a big one, again, for the young kiddos, but also older children as well. Disruptive behaviors, a really big one that I hear all the time from schools. Managing big emotions in healthy ways. So the idea here is if you have a child who has diagnosed depression, they should still be seeing a therapist. But in that 0 to 12 age range, the majority of children don't necessarily yet have a clinical diagnosis. They are kind of what some people say are preclinical, or they are having big emotions, or they're having tantrums, or they're having disruptive behaviors. They're acting out. And if we can address those, then we can prevent those becoming clinical issues when they're older. So the idea here is that it is a catch-all for anything that is before that clinical stage of where you should seek a therapist. Everything else fits into this bucket. And the more we invest here and the more time we do as parents to talk about it and seek help, the better our children are going to, or the more likely they will to not have those long-term chronic mental illnesses arise in their futures. So what I tried to do here is just pull out some of the topics again for the different age ranges. So it looked like we had people from every kind of age range. So I'll go kind of quickly through some of these topics. But for example, in that 0 to 4 age range, the coaches often talk to parents about learning how to identify the typical developmental milestones, or getting kids to try new things, or go new places, or try new foods. Um, growing vocabulary and ways to communicate, separation anxiety, tantrum, patience, building patience. And it even says defiant, which is something I think somebody dropped in there. So again, this is thought of as coaching. The idea that, you know, if you were to learn a new sport, you have a basketball coach or a soccer coach. Similarly, we don't get an instruction manual for parenting. So this is a parent coach, somebody who knows this and is trained in this and can help coach us through and give us strategies. The ages 5 to 8, these are some of the things that coaches work with parents a lot on. Learning how to express these big emotions, building organizational skills, because they're also then starting to navigate the transition to school and sitting behind a desk and, taking care of papers. Encouraging age-appropriate independence and responsibility, and then balancing that alone time with social time. So these are all things that we all navigate as parents, and then this is just a coach by your side so you can ask questions and do it together. And then the ages 9 to 12, they often work about setting boundaries online and social media. There are shocking numbers about the linkage between social media and mental health. And so just talking to a coach who has been trained and who has read the research and talking through how you can set strategies for your family. Again, this is personalized. So maybe for my family, it looks different than for your family. And that's the beauty of this kind of one-on-one coaching. Improving friendships, developing healthy ways to solve issues with sleep, school, stress. I do also want to say this is all very flexible in terms of who the coach talks to. So usually in the 0 to 6 age range, the coach talks mostly with parents, just because, for example, my 2-year-old would not be able to sit down and talk to a coach. But then in the older age ranges, a lot of children, especially in this kind of tweens, the 9 to 12, talk one-on-one with the coach. They build a relationship, a trusting relationship with another adult, and they maybe open up about things that they don't want to open up with their parents about. And so this is a great resource also for those older children who are about to enter into their teenage years, and giving them a space to kind of talk through and learn strategies for emotional well-being. All right, check-in time. Just one quick question. I think people were just in the chat. Don't worry, I don't think we have any more of the QR codes. Oh, actually, maybe we have one more, sorry. But whoever can type the answer the fastest to see if you were listening. I'm going to put a question here, and then I'm going to look at the chat, and whoever puts in the answer fastest wins. There's no prizes, but then you win. So who is eligible for BrightLife Kids? Actually, oh, okay, there we go. I see some chat going on. Everyone, anyone 0 to 14, everyone 0 to 12. Okay, Erica. I think Erica has the first fully comprehensive answer. Oh, but everyone 0 to 12. Let's see. Okay, there's one more thing other than everyone 0 to kids age. Anybody 2 to 12? Okay. Kind of Erica and Maria win together. So the answer is all families in California with children 0 to 12. So yes, everyone, but you have to have a zip code in California. I talked to somebody today who said, what about our homeless families or people who don't have a physical address? We can work with that. Where are they sleeping tonight? Put that address in, but they do need a zip code in California. So they can't be in Colorado. Unfortunately, it wasn't funded by the Colorado government. It was funded by California. So all families in California with children 0 to 12, they get this for free. Okay, I'm sorry. I said I had one more QR code. I promise this is the last one. But I would love to hear if you can take your phone out, or feel free to drop it in the chat, to scan this QR code and say, who do you turn to when you have questions about your child's behavior? So I'll leave this up there. I'm going to stop share really quick to transition over to the other screen. And on the other screen, you actually are able to also scan that. I also dropped the chat in here, or the link in here. And I'll move on to the next slide. Move over here. Okay, cool. We're already getting some results in. So feel free either to look in the chat for the link, or here's the QR code as well to scan, or you can put your answers in the chat. The question is, who do you turn to when you have questions about your child's behavior? Somebody says myself. Yes, that is both. We have a lot of answers ourselves, but also can be really challenging because we don't always know. Oh, Google. Yes. That's, I turn to Google so much. And what I find challenging on Google is that the first article I read says, never do this with your child. Then the next one says, you should always be doing this with your child. But absolutely, that's where we're left. Google. Yourself again. Podcasts, yes. When I was breastfeeding, I remember trying to find podcasts because I couldn't read anything, and was just trying to listen to other moms talk about breastfeeding and motherhood. Um, yeah, if you have a translator for different languages. Um, and then I think I saw some in the chat. I can't see those now. Um, but I will move on just again to spare you all, but thank you for dropping these in there. I'll go over here. Um, okay, and I saw some in the chat too that I can, yeah. Oh, well, yes, if you have a behavioral health coach, I love that answer, Gabriella. Yes. Okay, hopefully you're going to turn to your behavioral health coach. And then Michelle said, the primary care physician. Yes. However, sometimes I find that my pediatrician or primary care provider doesn't have time to go in depth about my daughter's issues. They usually just tell me, is she gonna live or die? And then we're out of time. So yeah, and somebody else wrote the pediatrician as well. Yes. And then this is somebody who you can talk to every week. There is no maximum amount of sessions you can book for this coach as well. So it's to supplement the work that pediatricians do for us. Um, all right, so I kind of gave you the background and then I promised to tell you how does it work. Well, like I said, you can even do it now on your phone or your web browser if you want to. Just Google brightlife.kids/CA. I'll also put this at the last slide. I'll put it in the chat. We'll send out an email. So don't worry, you will get access here. But this is really what it looks like. It's pretty much 3 steps. Wonderful when things are fast and easy for parents. First one is you just need a California zip code and a child 12 or under, and then you move on to you're kind of qualified. The second thing is a 2-minute or less. Usually it takes people between 1 to 2 minutes to complete this needs assessment. So questions about your child, their age, and then things that you might want to work on with the coach. And then it immediately, step 3, takes you to the results page. Wonderful. People want fast results. I'm not saying your child or you will change overnight, but I am saying at least in 2 minutes, you get a snapshot personalized to you from those questions that you answered. So for example, this one says that they would work on anxiety and bullying in the coaching sessions. From the results page, you can scroll down and immediately select your coach and book a session. The coaches are, like I mentioned, available in multiple languages. They have different availabilities, so you can select based on their availabilities. They also have different specializations. So we have coaches who are focused on autism spectrum disorder, or kind of have that background in training. We also have coaches who have a specialization in intellectual developmental delays. And so if this is something you're concerned about or wondering about, you can scroll through and select a coach based on a number of different things. So from there, you just book that session. Here, I know I've been talking a lot about that behavioral health coaching, so it's kind of center of the stage right here. 2 more things about that. They are 30-minute sessions and they are usually once a week. A couple more things. There is no maximum amount of sessions you can book with a coach. You can book one session because you have a lot of questions and you just wanted to explore. Or you can build a relationship with a coach and really think of them as somebody you can turn to for help or questions. There's also a secure chat. So let's say, you know, you have a question today, you book a coaching session and it's for next week. You can still secure chat the coach today, or tomorrow, and they will get back to you. I think it's within 24 hours. And answer some of those questions and get you kind of onboarded. So this is really the main piece. You have immediate access to a professional. And then these two pieces I also just highlighted. One, there's a digital tool library that is personalized based on your initial needs assessment. So for me, with my 2-year-old, my digital library has some tools around potty training, and tantrums. For you all, it might look different based on the age of your child or the things that you all are going through. And that is you can explore on your own time. And then you also have this piece of care coordination. So let's say you're not sure if your 10-year-old might need to see a therapist. What do you do then? Who would you talk to if you think they might need to see a therapist? Maybe your pediatrician. Well, you could talk to a coach, and the coach then can help you navigate where you should go. So they can do that needs assessment. They can maybe talk to your child. And if they do see that your child needs the therapist, then they can help you get connected to a therapist. And that goes for a lot of different things, including if there are, you know, housing insecurity or food insecurity. Coaches work to make sure that parents get connected to resources, in addition to just this one-on-one coaching. So it's also somebody who's just there to answer all your questions when you're navigating the healthcare system. And then just giving you this background, all of our coaches have a master's degree in a health-related field or a bachelor's degree plus one of these 2 coaching certifications, either from the National Board for Health and Wellness Coaching or the International Coaching Federation. So those are things they have to have before they can even apply. And then they all have over 5 years of direct experience working with children, youth, and families. So kind of that specialization. Those are the qualifications for the coaches. Once they are selected, then they go through 80 hours of skills and development training. So to really get everybody on the same page and make sure that there's a really high quality of our coaches before they are directly talking to a parent. And then I think I mentioned this earlier, but we really focus on diversity in our hiring process for the coaches. So we want to make sure that whether it's the LGBTQ plus community or the BIPOC community or gender diverse community, that people and youth and children can be talking to somebody who they feel like might understand and have lived experience of what they're going through when they are coaching them through these things. All right, and then just a few more slides. I know it's getting late, but this rolled out January 1st, 2024, and we've already gotten some members reaching out and asking us, can we share? Can we tell people how wonderful this is? And so this is a testimonial from this family that you know asked if they could share. And so Tallulah here is in the black t-shirt. And she was suffering from anxiety attacks that kind of came on suddenly. And these anxiety attacks were before she was going to school. And so her parents were kind of at a loss of what to do. Either A, they just tell her to, you know, push down her emotions and just go to school because attendance is important. I think that's probably what we were all told to do when we were young. Just force those feelings down and, you know, be strong and go to school. But of course, her parents wanted to understand and respect the fact that this was real and that mental health is real and anxiety is real. But they also couldn't just have her keep skipping school over and over. So they needed something quickly. They immediately got connected to a coach. And she was able to talk and build a relationship with a coach, and was able to go to school and kind of resolve this issue through many weeks, but really immediately connecting to that coach helped her get back to school. So these are two kind of quotes from the family, one from Tallulah. She said, "Dad, I had an anxious moment this morning and I remembered what Jordan told me." Jordan is her coach. And I said it to myself 3 times and the day was great. So again, this idea of that early intervention. Tallulah just needed some tools, some self-talk, some breathing exercises to get her through those moments, not just somebody to push her to go to school. She needed to take a moment to learn some tools. And then her parents, we are no longer facing the mountain of trying to figure out how to find help for my child. I'm in great debt to Brightline, and my child is doing wonderfully. We want the best for our children, but it's often really hard to figure out how to be there for them. So, this is just a really beautiful story I thought I wanted to share with you all. Um, and then this is just a 2-minute video to give you a break from my voice that kind of shows you what it looks like if you were to click through the app. I'll let it load for a second since sometimes it can kind of skip.
As parents, we're all just doing our best. But what if you had a coach by your side? BrightLife Kids by Brightline offers behavioral health coaching and tools for parents and kids ages 0 to 12. It's high quality care with no cost attached and no insurance needed, paid for by the state of California. When you join, it's important for us to get to know you and your child and understand any concerns you have, such as stress, worries, bullying, transitions, and more. We look out for any safety needs we should address quickly. And what you tell us will always be kept private. We then use assessments to get a snapshot of your child's behavioral health, and we show you the results right away. This helps us form a customized set of options to meet your family's needs. We offer digital tools like parenting videos and exercises, where your child can learn skills like how to manage their feelings, care guidance on local and crisis resources, and live video sessions and secure chat with a dedicated coach. If you want a live session, just choose a coach that best fit your child and book right away. Our coaches have master's or bachelor's degrees with coaching certificates and at least 5 years of experience working with kids and families. We have bilingual English and Spanish coaches and interpretation available in 18 languages. You can also chat with your coach if you're on the go. Whether it's through the library of resources or your dedicated coach, we can help you navigate your child's developmental milestones and challenging behavior. Now, if your family needs more support, we'll provide a care guide who can help you decide on care options and get set up with in-person care or other supportive services right in your community. Let us support your family to build tools, get coached, chat, find local resources, and more. Go to brightlife.kids to get started.
Awesome. All right, so I promised to share just kind of some ways that you can spread the news about this. Sometimes people ask, why haven't I heard about this? It's a new program. It launched January 1st. So it is, paid for by tax dollars. It is a resource for families. So let's get it out there. Let's tell people it exists. So first, I am a community engagement manager. I have a team of community engagement leads. So if you have a group that you're a part of, or something that you want us to show up to, I'm happy to work directly with you. I'll put my email in the chat with any ideas you have. So we would love to be kind of a part of your communities. Additionally, since we can't be at every, gathering in communities, we have built what we call kind of digital toolkit, which has, the flyers, the posters, the kind of social media posts, template emails. Anything that we've heard from our partners is helpful for them to just kind of, copy paste and make it really easy for them to share. I'm happy again to share that as well. And then we do things like this. So parent facing, we have workshops. I'm happy to kind of come in person to do something. Or we also have monthly webinars around specific topics. So I know last month's was about I think screen time in children. I had to miss that one. But I'm happy to share that calendar, and every month we pick a topic and we sit down with parents from across the state. And it's a webinar where we talk about that topic and then open it up for discussion. And that is it. So feel free to scan this QR code. This is what takes you directly to that website. It is all accessible on any web browser. And then we do also have an app for iPhones. So if you want to kind of download that app, the app is called BrightLine, kind of that parent company. Or you can scan this QR code. So yeah, I've now through the exercises primed us all to be able to scan a QR code. And this just takes you directly to the website where you can just click on sign up for free. I would really encourage you, even if you're just thinking about it or curious, to explore. There's no kind of binding, oh, now you're in, now you have to have a coach. It's just a resource that exists there. And would encourage you to look it up. This one is my email here, mwatts@hellobrightline.com. I'll also put it in the chat. But would love now to kind of open it up for questions or comments or discussion about this new program.
Thank you so much, Melissa. I also wanted to mention that next week we will be having a webinar with Soluna, which is a similar platform for age 13 and up. So that one will be Wednesday, May 29th at 9 o'clock in the morning in Spanish. And then we'll have it that same day at 6 o'clock in English. So we'll have it available in both languages, and we'll record the sessions. If you're unable to attend, we'll send the recording to you via Parent Square.